Alright, welcome back to some more K2V2 here on Bear's Den. And today we need to get plastic done. So let's take a look and see. We just need coal and petroleum, which, by the way, we are doing terrible on sulfur. I even hooked up the rest of these that we have to get more petroleum in here. Luckily, our sulfuric acid has ate through so much that it is almost full. We only got 10K left to go. So plastic is not going to do a whole lot of anything today. But we can get the setups built, which is the important part. Alright, so this is going to run up through the center. We have petroleum coming in through steel pipe, which we can run all the way past all of that. And then this can run, we're going to do the same thing we did on the other one, which is we're going to have coal come in like that. And we're going to do the piping exactly the same like this. That way we can use these to input our coal in like that. And as much as I'd rather not waste it, I would also like to be able to move around. So we're going to do that so I can actually get through here if I ever need to. And then we just need to set up the other side over here. And I'm going to need more of these if we hook up anything else. All right, so we should not need more than this. Okay, that'll take care of that. And then we just do one of these here and here. That'll hook it up. We are going to need another one of these for up here because we made this a little bit taller. And we can run this down this side. Coal will be going into these. All right, so now we just need to get the coal over here. Which should be no issue. That'll be the output where it needs to go to get to a train at whatever point in time that a train is required, which we will definitely be requiring at some point. All right, so that will take care of our plastic. So that is number one on our list of things that we need for our advanced circuits, because we need them for the electronic components. So now we have the glass and we have the plastic. Now we need to get the silicon. That will be in the next episode. Today, we're going to continue the work we were doing with sulfuric acid and sulfur stuff and get batteries down here. But we all know we are going to need tons of plastic. Literal tons of plastic. So we're going to set up at least 2 more of these for where we can put in plastic. And we can also run them down this way as well. So that'll be perfectly fine there. So now we just need to make sure that we go far enough. I have no idea where that sentence is supposed to be going. All right, we're doing batteries. And if I remember correctly, yes, batteries are also done in here. And that's just sulfuric acid, copper, and iron. So we're going to do this basically the same way. We're going to need a good amount of batteries because we're going to be setting up accumulators. And remembering from the last time I played this mod, there are big accumulators, energy storage, which uses energy control circuits, which uses lithium sulfur battery instead of these batteries. So we're not going to need as many as I was originally thinking, but we're still going to need a lot because we're going to be making a lot of accumulators if we're setting up solar, which we're not trying to do any no solar run or anything like that. So we most definitely will be setting up solar panels to help us to transition from solid fuel to nuclear. There is gas and other fuels that we'll be using because we did unlock this gas power station. We will be looking at that when we start making. I'm assuming this is going to use hydrogen. So we will look at that when we get to that point. We also have the fuel that we can make in this thing. And we'll take a look at that as well. But I figure we'll do this. And that should give us a decent amount of batteries for when we start setting up accumulators. And we'll also need batteries for a number of other things. A lot less than what we're going to need for the accumulators, though. And I have steel on me, but I don't have enough for this. So hold on, be right back. All right, so I got those piped up there on the side. Go ahead and get all of these set for batteries. And we're planning on bringing this in for each of these. So we'll go ahead and do this in preparation of that. That way we don't have to mess with anything when it's time. And why am I doing this? We don't need sulfuric or petroleum gas for this. I have no idea what I'm doing. We need sulfur for this. Sulfuric acid. Okay, so let's get this ready for all the things. And yes, I'm fixing this now. This looks, well, dumb. There. And we need that way over there. So let's run this through here. Even though we don't quite need it on this side, and it may end up getting in the way if we end up doing train things up there, which we might actually end up doing train things up there, but we're going to do it anyways, at least for right now. All right, so now we need to get let's get this part done. We need a belt ran down this side. We need a belt ran down this side. Batteries are going to come out here. So we're going to have them go in here. That way we can go right past there. So then we need to set up this, which is going to have the iron come from that side, the copper come from this side, and this is probably going to go away at some point. It'll probably be moved up higher, like up here. But for now, it's fine where it's at. So now that will take care of the iron and copper needs that we have. So now input a power line across all of those. Then we can go ahead and set up our power lines on either side here. And we will need to do one in the middle here. So now we do this. We do this. And then we do this. Okay, so now the only thing we need is our sulfuric acid. So now we're going to imagine that this is stainless steel pipe instead of regular steel pipe because, you know, acid. I really need to grab more of these so I can stop having to do this. All right, so now that will come down to here. That'll go in there. This will go here. That will come over to here. And then we'll do that. And we have batteries. All right, so now once we get to our modular armor, which is going to be when we make our advanced circuits, we can now make our personal batteries and our big personal batteries because we have our batteries. And we can also set up making accumulators, when we get to that point, when we're ready to set up our solar panels, which you can see we have everything now that we need for solar panels except for the silicon. And that is going to be done in the next one. Now, the question is, in vanilla, I typically do my accumulators down here because I don't place them personally. For anybody that hasn't seen my vanilla stuff or is new here, XAR, a friend of mine, a member of our group, set me up with this, which is his tileable solar panel array. And it's tileable because you'll see in the upper right and the lower left corner, there are roboports. And so if I set one of these here in this direction, and then I flip it one, I can put one right next to it, which will line up perfectly with the one beside it, because then the roboport will be in the bottom right and in the upper left. And then the same thing, if I put this one down here, it would line up perfectly with the one above it. So we can just tile these things. And the roboports are in there, in place, at least for vanilla, to give enough coverage to fill up everything that it needs to build for itself. So the one that you place on the previous one will be able to get you to the next one. And so it's completely hands off to do. Now, that does require roboports. So when we get to solar, we're going to do it a little different in the very beginning. But that's why I don't have an issue of placing my accumulator being built down here, because I don't ever need to grab them for myself. The only thing I ever will need them for is like if I need to set them up for turning on and off power or something. And I'll usually have one or two in my inventory just in case I need them for that. And so I think we are going to do the exact same thing here. So we are going to, up here, set up like 2 rows of these like this, and we'll have the output go right there. We will have the iron come off of here, because for our accumulators, that's all we're going to need is iron and batteries. So we can have the batteries come up through here. Make a few more of these. And we will just do this along that way. Get rid of these trees. This along this way. And we can then have this go like this. That can split there. This can now go here. Bring it up to here. And we will have let's do it this way. So I'll have the iron come off here. We'll have the batteries go in there. We can just do this to get it completely out of the way. And now that will give us batteries and iron on both belts. That'll take care of getting power into all of those. We'll just need to bring power up from down there. And then input, output, output, and input. And these go rather slow. So even though it's going to take a good amount of batteries to build it, it should fill just fine with those. And then we just put one of these at the end with a steel chest and one of these to make sure it has power. And we'll set it for, I'll change this number eventually when we do robots and stuff like that. Right now, one stack is fine. But when we actually use XAR's thing, we need 128 per tile. And we usually will set up like 4 of these at a time minimum. So we'll set it to make sure we have enough to do at least that. But that is it. We now have our batteries, we have our accumulators done. We're ready to get the solar as soon as we get our silicon, and we are ready to get to our advanced circuits as soon as we get the silicon, because that's the last thing that we need for the electronic components. And for our chemical tech card, the advanced circuits is the only thing that we need for getting to it. So we will work on silicon in the next one. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I look forward to seeing you then. Have a good one.